Hola! It is Metal Heart once again. It's a late Saturday night. I will say I am proudly part of Gen X. It was the best decade for music and movies. So lately, when I'm at the grocery store, I hear 70s and 80s music. Before, I heard Muzak. That was common. We want you to listen to pleasant music while you shop for food and whatever. And I remember, I think it was 12 years ago, I was at a party at a friend's house. My friend was dating this chick that had kids, and one of them said, she heard, the music playing on the radio. She said, "You listen to old people music." I was like, "Ah! Come here, you little..." No. So I wanted to say to her, you know what? Yeah, my bands have been around for 40 years or more. Your bands probably won't be around for 3 decades. Probably much less. I'm thinking of, bands like Nickelback or Linkin Park or Korn. And so I think we were listening to, Black Sabbath or BOC. And she had the guts to say that, whatever. So when I think back to the music that I grew up with, Pink Floyd, one of my favorite. Actually, it is my favorite. BOC, Cheap Trick, ELO, another favorite. Thin Lizzy. So if anyone in the younger generation starts trashing that music, I'll be like, look. Here's why you're wrong. Listen to me, you little. Okay. One, they had typically one songwriter, one maybe two producers. Compared to now, who's writing the songs? It's not the original musician. They have a team. And you've got 5 or 6 producers? So, the young kids that like the trash classic rock and whatever. And now the local station is playing music from, Three Doors Down and Linkin Park and POD. I'm like, what? That's not classic rock. And even Green Day, that's not classic rock. And, some people might ask, why are you still listening to, corporate radio? I'm like, well, sometimes I just, once in a while I like to hear the old songs. Or sometimes I play my CDs, which is heavier stuff that they won't play on radio. Obviously, Slayer, Sepultura, Deicide, they won't play. They don't have to play that. So, but anyway, I do have a special place in my heart for, Deep Purple, bands like that. Once in a while I like to listen to them. But today's music, it sounds horrible. And even when it comes to metal, screamo, screamcore, or whatever they want to call it, deathcore, it all sounds the same to me. Not joking. And, the band logo, you just threw paint on the wall, right? I don't know what the hell that reads. Come on! So, it's like, today's music just doesn't, it doesn't impress me. And you got these bands. I know I'm gonna make people angry when I say this. You've got these bands that I don't know how the hell they got signed. They sound horrible, and I'm talking about Napalm Death, Voivod. Not a big fan of Primus. I know. I love comedy with metal, but you know, Meshuggah, and there's probably like 10 more that I'm forgetting. I just can't get into it. It doesn't sound good. Alright, so if you have ever taken music theory, there are certain chords that sound great. You know, people love harmony and all that. And then there's bands that just put out, cry. Let's put rocks in, a dryer. Sure. All right. I would rather listen to Cats in Heat or rocks in a dryer instead of these bands. So, like, yeah, when it comes to music and other things, I'm picky. Life is too short to listen to crap. And so I told people, yeah, again, I'm proud to be Gen X. And yes, when I want to chill out, when I'm moody, happy or moody or sad or whatever, I listen to Pink Floyd. They wrote some of the best songs ever. That's why they sold millions of records. And so I would tell the young kids, let's say your favorite band is Korn for some reason. How many albums did they sell in all the time they've been around? What, 10 million? Maybe. Not impressive. Now, if you're talking 50 million or more, yeah, that's impressive. So, and sadly, some of my favorite bands are calling it quits, or they have. BOC, Pink Floyd, apparently. Zeppelin, of course. And I guess Megadeth called it this year. But I'm like, man, I just the old music. They recorded their music on like 10, 12 tracks, and now it's up to how many? I haven't been to a studio in a while, but it's like, and the whole idea of remastered albums, I don't like. I want to hear the original recording, because if it's too clean, it takes away that magic of the original recording. And yes, I call it magic. Well, there were imperfections. Yes, that's what we love. Hello, the true fans of any band love that. And you call it imperfections. That was part of the plan, I guess. Well, this musician was off. I don't care. Or they try to sell a new album, but it only has like 1 or 2 unreleased tracks. I'm like, come on, really? Not cool. Not cool. Or there's new album artwork. I don't care. What's wrong with the original? But I will buy an album if it has like, let's say 10 unreleased tracks, and let's say it's a double album. I will buy that, depending on the band. Maiden, of course. But these young kids, they're not used to, they didn't grow up in the Gen X era. They're like, oh, they have a new album. Their music is featured in this crappy remake of a horror movie or something. I don't care. And, and the whole star lifestyle is gone. Everything is watered down. It's PC crap. Well, I'll tell you, listen, I grew up with Motley Crue, one of the wildest bands ever. Second maybe only to Rolling Stones. You don't see that anymore. We're vegan and we fight for PETA, blah blah. Like, stop. Oh, you're so hardcore. I want to see hardcore sleazy crap. That's what I grew up with. So anyway, yeah, today's music it doesn't impress me. They get into the studio and they're like, hey, let's just make another album. We need more money. And like, whatever. And sadly, many bands are like that. Like, I don't respect that. If it's a solid album, that tells me that they're doing it because they love music. And you got into it because you love music. Not because you wanted to make money. There's nothing wrong with that, but that shouldn't be the main goal. But now, today, it feels like that's what they're after. Like, no. Listen, just call it quits. And Aerosmith, I'm talking about you. They haven't put out a solid album since 95 or something. So that's how many years ago? Just call it quits. Damn. So anyway, that is my rant about music.